Welcome back to UrbanX TV.
UrbanX TV, that's where it is. We doing our thing right now.
You know what I'm saying? We're back at it.
We're doing our thing. I want to thank everybody for the subscriptions and just helping us trying to create this platform from the bottom up, which is, solely to bring some information balanced and fair as possible. Because, you know how that gets.
Right. So, it's only, right now we're recording this is Tuesday. And we usually do this later in the week, but it's been a lot going on.
Been a lot going on, right.
Let's just jump right into a follow-up, I guess, of the last interview, the last sit-down we did about the Vegas shooting. So, there's been some new developments, some unofficial, some official. Some people saying that they saw multiple shooters. One guy said he got shot by somebody in the crowd. I saw the video you were talking about the cab driver when you can hear two different people shooting going on. So what did you think?
One of the developing issues that struck me the most was in today's Daily News, which stated that the security guard who originally they thought was shot when he came to the door to stop Stephen Paddock from shooting was false. He was shot 6 minutes before Stephen went on the rampage. Now that changes the narrative somewhat, right? Because that means he got shot, he radioed in for help, and they didn't show up for 15 minutes and let this man go on this shooting rampage. Changes the narrative or pretty much enhances the narrative we was getting at. That something is not right, something is not sitting well. Now, the security guard may not have been on code, meaning he might have not been a part of the original plan. See, when they lay these things out, a lot of times they have to anticipate that somebody somewhere could show up and either thwart the plan or make them have to deviate from the plan. So, security guard said he heard drilling in the room next to him, right? So he went to inquire, and because the camera was on the door, Paddock shot through the door. So they say he might have been shot by an FBI agent. You know what I'm saying? Because they needed to lay this plan out a certain way because it's obvious Stephen had some kind of help taking place. He radioed that in at 9:59. The shooting didn't start to approximately 10:05. So if you get shot in Vegas, right, the police will be there instantly in most cases, especially we're talking about the Mandalay Bay Hotel. Okay, so police are already in the building. Am I right?
Right.
With all the gambling going on, there's undercovers everywhere. So this supports the fact that there was something else going on. Then there was a guy on internet channels, could be fake news, I don't know. So I didn't put my stamp on it, but he clearly stated it was 2 or 3 shooters. He got shot because they was basing it on the trajectory of where the bullet hit him. The bullets didn't come down and hit him. He got hit damn near going upward or an even kill, which means that he got shot by somebody on the ground. I'm hearing more and more videos of regular common folk now. See, this is what I was talking about, CNN and them having the ability to control the narrative they all played the same 4 or 5 clips. People running, get down, the same, every station. That lets you know they all down with it. And then the internet shows up, as we talked about, and I want to also say this. If they control the information, because we're in the information age, right? There's always a 10 to 20% portion that they can't control. Because there's just people got cameras everywhere. So even if YouTube and Google and all of them can control 80%, that 20% at some point will filter to the top. Out of this 20%, I heard somebody else, I literally saw their smartphone, they filming, and you can hear, not an echo of you can hear 2 different shooters, right? Then I saw a YouTube clip of somebody behind a fence, and the fence had like a tarp on it, and you hear a single shot. You don't hear gunshots. Boom, and you see the tarp from the compression of the weapon hit the tarp simultaneously. So that was a shooter as well. So the FBI It's got people looking left while they doing something right. But we kind of talked about this last week on the story just doesn't sit well. So I'm not trying to turn people into conspiracy theorists. I'm saying if it don't sit well with your soul, don't allow it to sit well. Right. Use it to solve for X. And now we're starting to get to that unknown equation slowly but surely, because it becomes harder and harder to pull these things off in the age of information where everybody has got a camera. Right. I still ain't seen massive bodies laid around. I still haven't seen it. Now, to pull off a conspiracy of this magnitude also requires you to have the hospitals involved if people really didn't get shot. But I do think people got shot. Mm-hmm. But I keep telling you, real people can die in a fake movie, so don't get caught into that thinking that it's ketchup everywhere. It's not necessarily the case. Now, I also talked about how multiple shooters, them other shooters might have had blanks, because somebody suggested if that many shooters was there, maybe more than 59 people would have died. But the other shooters and the blanks is just to create commotion, because they also said Stephen Paddock shot or was trying to shoot a fuel tank to create some kind of diversion. So this got sloppy. His brother did a 180. His brother, when they interviewed him last week, seemed to be like, no, my brother, this week he seemed to be like, everybody's not poor. You know, everybody doesn't work at Dunkin', don't they? He really got his chest poked out on how rich his brother was. And you know what I'm saying? And then he made some sly comments about army of one or arms dealers. We don't know, because he started to say it and then he stopped. So we don't know exactly what he was trying to say. The NRA has dispelled, and they're not taking no responsibility. Right. They saying it's the movie industry's fault and it's the gaming industry's fault for putting all these crazy, magnificent weapons in these people's minds. And now you're trying to blame us, who are the ones who are just creating this for the Second Amendment right to carry guns. So this is going to be an ongoing story that we're going to have to pay very close attention to. But if you think this is some lone gunman stuff, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we got to pay very close attention to that.
So what I saw in some of the YouTube comments, I saw just a real question, just why? Like, why do all of this? Like, so what do you think the motive is?
Okay.
If there is any.
Again, I put up a piece on Facebook 2 days ago or yesterday, and it said, you can't start a war when patriotism is at an all-time low. Right. All right? You cannot start a war in this country if patriotism, that's connecting the shooting to football, the arms rights, your ability to bear arms. These are all patriot acts. Columbus Day here now. These are all patriot acts, so to speak, of acts of patriotism. Right. So usually right before they go to war, they bring out a war movie, Hollywood be in on it, get you all riled up and have y'all go out there and fight this war. But what's happening now, everybody ain't on it. Everybody ain't with it. There are people going, nah, we ain't falling for that. Something ain't right. So now the NFL is doubling down, and we'll talk about that, because they need you all in compliance with this, so that when we tell you we going into Korea, for whatever reason that they want to go into Korea, that the people can be lined up. They need the people's energy, and they need the people problem, action, reaction, solution. They have the problem and the solution. You need to want this war, in my humble opinion. So now the whole Patriotism Act, the whole president showing up at the game and protesting because others were protesting.
Yeah, Mike Pence.
Yeah, Mike Pence.
Right.
So you protesting the fact that they was protesting. This is how idiotic this has become. Right. How you gonna leave the game in protest because others were protesting? All right, that's an oxymoron, so to speak, but that's what's going on. You know, that was a staged event. They said it cost taxpayers $242,000. Yeah. You know what I mean? For him to stage that event, because they know we need to get these people aligned for this. We need this war to come down the pipe, because that war is that money. You know what I mean? And if people are not at war or, on board with this, it could cause civil war here.
Yeah.
In the stands is already causing civil war.
Yeah, I saw a video
of a lady pouring beer on somebody's head because they refuse to stand. Imagine that happening everywhere. In stadiums where it's 20% black people and you surrounded by 80% white people and you want to voice your First Amendment right to, you know what I'm saying, not stand, and you have to fight your way out of the stadium. Right?
Right.
I got a son who can't walk. He has cerebral palsy. If I take him to the game and I stand and he don't, and somebody pour beer on his head, somebody is going to die. And it won't be me and my son. That's my word. Right? So there's so many variations of why people are not standing. You don't know why these people are not standing. You know what I'm saying? You just assume that they're unpatriotic. May be the case, may not. Right? So we got a gumbo of shit going on now. Not standing for the flag. Arms dealer. Lone gunman. President stirring the pot. Jamel Hill saying her piece. So this is a gumbo of shit.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be a stew.
It's giving me a headache.
Yeah, it's going to be a stew of shit. So we need to prepare and understand what's coming down the pipe with that.
So, like, piggybacking off of the Jamel Hill situation, what did you think about that?
Me and you talked off camera, and it was sort of like a makeup call.
Yeah.
In the NBA, when they blow a call, and then you go down the other end and they make up a call.
Yeah.
So they wanted to suspend her 2 weeks ago for her statements on Donald Trump, and they got a little backflash because her partner refused to come out, and the niggas was gathering together saying you ain't gonna do this to her. So they put it on hold, and she makes this statement, which was a lesser statement because she was saying if you have problems with Jerry Jones, hit him in his pocket. She said, I'm clearly stating this is not an NFL boycott I'm talking about.
And she said, the sentiments that you speak as well, you can't put this all on the players as well. Right.
You can't put this all on the players. We're asking our players right now to bear a heavy burden, which goes back to a talk me and you had a couple of weeks ago on camera. You can look it up, where I said we have the tendency to want to live vicariously through people who are actually doing the work. Colin Kaepernick took the knee. You didn't. But yet you want to, you know what I'm saying, stay at your job. And why you ain't taking the knee at your job? Antoine, right? Now when Antoine go to Burger King and he take a knee and the boss come by and be like, Antoine, what you doing? I'm taking the knee for all of the workers who have been treated bad here at Burger King. We ain't getting the raises we supposed to get. In 15 minutes, Antoine ass will be fired. Now, before he gets fired, everybody who works there will be, that's right, Antoine. Stand up for us, Antoine, while they flipping his burgers. The minute they fire him, they gonna turn and be like, Antoine, see your ass later. Right? Antoine coming to work every week. Now he's standing outside of Burger King, taking his knee for his cause, and they going right past him. Hey, Antoine, back to work. All right? So how come, stop looking at it as because Colin Kaepernick had this huge platform. We all have a platform. If you feel that strongly about what he's doing, go to your job and take a fucking knee. Huh? What? Oh, you're not going to do that, right? So stop with all the craziness of this outlandish thing. We must, I'm bringing this all back around to Jamel Hill, who Jerry Jones drew his line in the sand, right? He played the fence 2 weeks ago by having his players kneel before the national anthem, and he stood with his his players, right? But then when the national anthem came on, he said, you niggas better stand up and do this, right? That was him toggling the fence. Now he's made it crystal clear. Any of my players, my niggas, ain't standing for the national anthem, they cannot play. That's putting those players in a very hard position.
Right.
Because now, if they stand, are they coons? Did they sell out? Or do they have multi-million dollars contracts and they were signed to play? Right? We cannot put this burden on all the players in the community to shed light on things going on in our community. It helps, but this has to have a trickle-down effect. Everybody has to get involved in some shape, form, or capacity for it to have an impact. Now, when Jamel Hill said boycott the Cowboys, I thought that was a great idea because in my book, plug, I have a chapter about boycotting. And the method I use is, instead of trying to boycott everything at once, that never works. Mm-hmm. If you telling black people to boycott gas stations and black people got to get to work, your boycott has failed, right? Because I got to get to work. I got babies at home. But if we say boycott only Shell gas stations all around the country, we have the social media outlets now. Do not drive an extra block and get your gas from Mobil. That's all we're saying in this book, right? And once we collapse Shell, then we move on to the next gas station and collapse them. Now, that other gas station may make an influx of cash. That's not their cash. That's our cash. We coming to get that cash. You know what I'm saying? But when we systematically take down Shell gas station, you know what I mean? Then we can come and at some point, Mobil or Exxon or wherever you get your gas, go, all right, hold. What is it that y'all want? So we need to know what it is we want. Why are we doing this? Are we doing this just for promotion? Or are we doing this because we want money poured back into the community of all this gas that we buy? And we're not talking about basketball tournaments and shit. We're talking real centers to educate, teach, the whole 9 yards. So I thought it was brilliant for her to say just boycott the Cowboys. I have been a Cowboy fan since 1977. I refuse to fuck with anything Cowboys from now on. Yeah, I said it. You know what I mean? I'm not even supposed to say Cowboys anymore when I did my podcast earlier with Eli, because I think he's clearly talking about his money now.
Yeah.
This is about my money. Roger Goodell doubled down, came out with an official statement. All the owners getting together, all the slave plantation owners are going to get together because the Negroes are out of control now. Yeah. You know what I mean? And they're making it a mandate that you must stand. Well, that's a contradiction. You see what I'm saying? Because what does politics or, that flag have to do with playing football? It's a real slippery slope, right? 80% of the people who come to these games are white people. And you know what they want? They want to be entertained. Like, nigga, I just want to see you niggas run and jump and smash each other in the fucking head. That's what I pay my hard-earned money for. I don't want to see this shit going on. You know what I mean? So it becomes a slippery slope. If I go to the movies, if everybody in the theater started standing up singing the national anthem before the fucking movie came on for no reason at all, I'd have a problem with that. I came to see, Spider-Man 2, and I got to see this shit. You know what I mean? Right. But where do you draw the line when this is a free country to do anything we want? Right? So the owners are saying, because they're starting to lose money, right? They're saying, listen, we just want to get back to playing football, right? And you can't put that whole burden on the players who their whole life, you know what they did? They played football. So now we're burdening them so we can stay home and our comfy little computers and shit, talking shit. You know what I mean? While these people are sacrificing themselves and you won't even take a knee at Burger King, Antoine.
Antoine is a fictitious.
Yeah, that's just a fictitious character. I'm just saying, Rollo could be anybody. Pedro, Alejandro, whoever. Right? So this goes back to what we're saying. You have to get involved in some capacity. I don't want to see you on YouTube talking shit about, Kaepernick is my hero. Wait a minute. He took a knee, but he shouldn't bear that whole burden. I'm sorry. He take a knee so you can do what? Stay home and talk shit on YouTube? Doesn't work that way. And this is why I said we will never unite in this country. And people got all mad. I'm just looking at the statistical data. Right?
Right.
But back to boycotting. That's the way it's supposed to be done. Now, Jemele Hill needs to quit. She has a big enough following to start a YouTube channel on her boy Mike. Her boy Mike came to work today.
Right.
So people, now is he a coon? Because he stood out last time for her. How long should he stay out? Should he lose his job? And he got babies at home. You understand my point? So if you have a problem with Jemele Hill being suspended, boycott ESPN. Okay? Stop watching their shows. They tanking anyway because Fox Sports FS1 kicking their ass anyway in the ratings. Right? And I think that's also what gave Jemele Hill the leverage anyway. Because prior to FS1 showing up, you only had one sports network, which was ESPN. And if they fired you, you pretty much was out unless you went to a local news station. FS1 is on the come up. So most of the people on FS1 used to work at ESPN.
FS1 is embracing politics.
They're embracing this politics and all of this old kind of stuff. So she might already have a deal in her back pocket with FS1. I don't know. And they were like, yo, because she's like, listen, this is how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? The only show that is worth watching is her and Mike. Sports Center at 6 anyway. I don't even watch Stephen A. Smith that much. I be with Shannon because Shannon at least gonna say something. You know what I mean? I know he got a white wife. That's another story for another day. But he at least gonna say something that make you go, facts. Right? So that whole show is built around his melanated energy. All right? Skip is feeding off his energy. It's not the other way around.
Which is wild,
You see what I'm saying? He makes that show. He is so highly melanated and highly charged. He makes that particular show. So I tune into him first. Stephen A. Smith started, buck dancing a little bit more. And, it seemed a little fake, contrite, a little, And now they brought that other guy in, not Max Kellerman. It's the other dude they bring in the middle of them. And he has his political views to try to spice it up. But it's too late. Mike and Mike in the morning, I don't even tune in. I'm tuning in to Nick Wright and Chris Carter. First things first. All right? Because at least it's got a different... So it's only going to be a minute. So she knows she has more leverage than she may have had before.
Yeah, Sports Center, they're getting desperate. They brought battle rappers on there.
Yeah. They're bringing battle rappers through. They're getting desperate. They're trying to cater to that urban crowd a little bit more. Like, don't leave us. But when another product shows up and you have a choice now, and I ain't all about Fox. You know how Fox depicts us in general. But in terms of the two sports shows, I tune more into Fox now than I do ESPN. You know what I mean?
You would agree that Jemele Hill needs to quit, right?
I think she needs to quit. I had no problems with her statements because I felt that they were isolated statements directed at a specific organization, and she clarified herself. See, this is what Cam Newton didn't do because I got 8 out on YouTube in the comment section by Cam Newton lovers. You know what I'm saying? Who were telling me that the lady was a racist. Now, mind you, me and you did that show before we knew what she looked like. We had no idea about her racist tweets, and they didn't matter as far as our...
I don't think... Granted, the tweets were foul, but I don't think...
And she made them tweets when she was a teenager, and her last name was Rodriguez or Rodrigue. I thought it was somebody Spanish. So I did not put the race card in it and say this was a white cave bitch, and he could say whatever he wants to say. That wasn't my stand. My stand was, until you reach financial independence, your financial destiny is in your hands. You can't step on a podium and say those things. Point blank.
Especially as a black man.
Especially as a black. This is common sense 101. You understand my point? This is common sense 101. And I'm raising 3 men. And I'm trying to teach them to respect everybody. Women, this and that. And I clearly said that's some locker room shit. Go back and watch the tape. So that was code for, you can say that shit on your own. Because let's be clear, Dannon, Yogurt probably think he a nigga too.
Right.
But they doing business. And Dannon would never come out and say, this brand of yogurt is strictly for niggas. The same way Dove has got their soap commercial. We'll talk about that. You understand my point?
Yeah.
So common sense. Now, you can achieve financial freedom and still be a slave. I'm going to say that again. You can have financial freedom and you can still be a slave, because if you're not writing the checks, if the money is not coming in your name, then you ain't really free. That's why all these rappers who used to come out and voice their opinion about what's going on in our hood no longer do so, because it's in their contract. They can't do that shit. Right?
Right.
So that's another way when we talked about neutralizing the threat. That's another way you neutralize the threat. Right?
Yeah.
Get all corporations run this. America is a corporation. That's why Donald Trump is the president and not the king or the emperor and the ruler, because this America, United States, is a corporation. Do your research, right?
Right.
So we understand that, and everybody is in bed with these corporations. So they neutralize, because let's face it, the rappers are not making money on the songs no more, because the songs are basically free. Mm-hmm. So they have to find other ways to diversify their portfolio, and they do it by signing with Pepsi, Coke, this and that. Target, Old Navy, you name it. And they say, listen, this is our contract. You have to be an upstanding citizen, which means you can't talk about women in the workplace, gays, transgenders, midgets, you can't talk about none of that shit and expect Dove or Dan and them people to cut you a check. 101. Why did he, and for the Cam Newton, I had some people tell me, yeah, you a pussy worshiper. You putting pussy on a pedestal and fuck that bitch. And dude, that had nothing to do with nothing. But for the record, if it's between pussy and Cam Newton, I'm taking pussy for 500, Alex. Definitely. Give me pussy for 500. But back to my point. You can't do that. That's common sense 101. That's why he apologized, because he don't want to lose more of his advertisements. And as a black man, a black quarterback is already a racist position. You've already overcome the odds, because they say you black guys are what? Athletic, fast. They never say you intelligent, right? And all the scrutiny we had to go through in this country, you don't get in front of a podium and say that in a joking manner, a serious manner. And had he clarified it, when the girl asked him, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. I'm just saying I grew up and all my pops and us, we would all be around watching it. Whatever, he may have softened the blow. So you got to be careful with those kind of statements.
And one quick thing before we get off this topic, Brett Favre had something back in the day. If you like,
he tweeted his penis
right to a female reporter.
To a female reporter.
I remember him coming out and apologizing for that.
Well, he's a white man,
right? So like that's.
So let's be clear
right.
and understand that there are two different standards.
Right.
You know what I mean? He tweeted his penis. The president grabbed some pussy and said, grab the pussy. Nobody talking about that. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same time, Donald Trump is a billionaire. He can say, grab him by the pussy, and they can impeach him. And he will still be what? A billionaire. Right. Cam Newton, most of your money is coming from endorsements. Little white girls and black girls eat that yogurt shit. And you became the image. Now they gave it to Dak Prescott. See how they switched niggas like that? So you could be replaced when you don't control your financial destiny.
And that was my issue with him even saying that, because like, you should know that. And
you should know that. See, people took the stance that, oh, she's a racist bitch. I wouldn't care if she was racist from top to bottom. Has nothing to do with common sense. Okay.
I came to you this was past weekend. I showed you the screenshot of the Dove. The Dove advertisement,
yes.
Whatever. So apparently, all right. So what it was, it was a black woman. Before she used Dove, she's black with a brown shirt on, and then I think the next picture was, a white woman taking off the brown shirt.
Yeah, and she had a white shirt on, and she was pearly white.
But apparently that wasn't the ad. Apparently, I guess that was taken out of context. Right.
Was it? Let's see. So
I haven't seen it. But but the point is that the fact that it could have been taken out of context like that is still...
Well, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Right.
All right? And that 1,000 words told me when I saw it, if it had nothing else to it, but just Dove and the 4 pictures of her transforming into a white girl with the power of Dove. I saw some funny memes about Little Kim and Michael Jackson. And, a side note. A picture's worth 1,000 words, and it was left for too much to interpret.
Right.
Now, who greenlight this? Who was sitting around in the boardroom? Yeah, this looks good. We're going with this. Yeah. Who did that? You have to be culturally sensitive. But listen, I've had a boss who was so racist, he didn't know he was racist. Right. Everything he did was racist, but this was the only thing he knew, and he didn't know any better. So you get these corporations and these companies who are just blatant in, who they are targeting for. And don't tell me you're going to start boycotting Dove, because the list can get real long. Timberland, Nike, y'all really want to start? Volkswagen, Barclay. The list goes on and on. Everything we using has some form of racial overtones unless we own it. BuyBlack.com is a website that my goddaughter put me on, and they're trying to grow. They're trying to become like a little Amazon. I don't know if they have 2 free days, shipping and all that shit yet. But where you can put your money where your mouth is, right, and begin to buy these products that you feel support your ideology and how you feel. But until then, man, my lights gotta stay on. I'm on YouTube, Facebook. All of that shit ain't owned by us. Right. So once we start, and that's why I don't nitpick on stuff like that. Because, let's be real, we can all get technical and we won't be able to buy shit in this country. You know what I mean? So just looking at the ad, I felt that somebody in their creative department or whoever greenlights should have said, hold up. Now the model herself, the black girl, stepped forward and said she didn't see it as anything racial. I don't know if she buck dancing or, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or as they say out here, cooning. I don't know, I didn't read the entire story, but she just saw it as something creative. I'm all with creativity. Just like when one of the Kardashians went up to the protests and held up the Pepsi can. Like, you know what? Why should we fight when we can have Pepsi?
But, okay, so, like, I work in a position where, like, something that goes out to the public has to go through 3 or 4 different offices, right? So, but at the same time, I could do all the fighting, somebody else could do all the fighting, but it takes that one person in a high enough position to say yes, and it's gonna go.
Absolutely. So, who was in that higher position to green like this, right, and what are their ideologies, and how culturally sensitive are they to other people? It's the question. Yeah. That's all I'm asking. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, that's something that needs to be addressed and dealt with, because this happens all the time in advertisement. So I'm not saying don't go out and boycott Dove, but I'm just saying put that on the list of things that we need to do. Like I said, if Dove is the one soap we're going to boycott, let's all team up, use our social media outlets. Let's not mention it by name. And let's all collectively boycott Dove and hit them, because this is economic warfare. Yeah. That's what you call it. Don't mess with white people's money. You can kill their kids. They throw their own kids off the roofs. If the stock market crash, they take a vote. Hey, anybody gonna miss little Tommy? Because we need this insurance money. Throw his little ass. They jump out of windows when the stock market crash and all that kind of stuff. So you don't mess with white people's money. Right. And that's pretty much what Jerry Jones is saying too. I built this stadium. This is my dream and passion. And I allow you niggas to run around and jump and all that old shit. But my paying customers, the ones who come to see this, they're upset. And if the paying customers is upset, we got a problem. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that goes in. And, again, the latest on the shooting, we want to keep our eye on this shooting and let some more things develop. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, so speaking on, like, black-owned things, I recently ran into this social media site called blackspot.com.
Blackspot.com. And black is spelled BLAQ, is it not?
Yes.
All right, blackspot.com. We want y'all to log on to that. It's a black-owned brother trying to do like a YouTube, Facebook type of thing where you're not censored, where you can speak your mind, you can speak your piece. I believe it's a monthly fee, but come on, $5 or $10 a month.
It's also shared.
Shared, so if you bring other people in, because I read up on it briefly, if you bring other people in, you get a little kickback. So it's ways in which you can make money, because we have to stop complaining about these social media outlets censoring our shit, telling us what we can and cannot say, flagging videos and this and that, when we can create our own outlets and build and say what it is we want to say. We will sign up for that this week.
Right, and we're going to try to get the creator. We're going to try to sit down with him as
well.
well.
We're going to try to at least do it, because I believe he's out of Chicago, is it not?
Texas.
He's out of Texas. So we can't fly him in. We're not that big yet, not with 4,000 subscribers and stuff like that. But we'll do maybe a Skype interview with him so he can kind of give us the breakdown. And we will bring that to you.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? The FBI released a memo recently while it's on my mind. Blue Pill went over it. Tariq Nasheed was talking about the BIE, the Black Identity Extremist. So it's this report that came out from the FBI, like a memo, saying now we have to watch what we call Black Identity Extremist.
Think you're on that list?
I may be on that list. I may. But what I did was I just took it in reverse. I said extreme, identification of black people. Right. You know what I'm saying? Extremely identifying with being black. Black identity extremist. Extremely identifying with being black. You know what that means? Pro-black. So that's code word. Reverse it. You know we decoding, right? So B-I-E, black, identity extremist. No. They're just saying you are extremely identifying with being black, and we call that being pro-black. So now that's everybody. When you pro-black it, you know what I mean? Right. That's everybody's on this list now that we need to watch out for. You see what I'm saying? Right. So be careful of what's going on, what you see on these social media outlets. You got to be very careful on what you say at all times. You know what I'm saying? Because the FBI an FBI agent used to be a field agent that had to infiltrate your actual organization. Now, they just get a cup of coffee and log on with a whole bunch of these fake names and this and that, infiltrate your chat room groups. It's always the ones that say some really outlandish shit in the chat area, because it's easier work now for them to, because what we have done is we've snitched on ourselves. Have we not? We have, because every time you put up what you ate last night, what your political views, your social views, your gender views are, which that's getting fucking extreme. Yeah. As a matter of fact, the next time I go to a restaurant, okay, and they don't have a cat litter box in their bathroom, I got a problem with that, because I'm feeling trans animal like. I feel, no, serious. Sometimes I feel like I'm a cat. Yeah. And if I go to your bathroom and I have to piss in a stool, I got a problem with that. So I'm just letting you know, you better have a cat litter box out, because why? I'm feeling like a cat. You see what I'm saying? This is how extreme this shit is getting now. How you feel determines what a restaurant and organization should have. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Right? So they're getting extreme. Any more questions before I get into my public service announcement?
Oh, going into hip hop, Kodak Black.
Oh.
He got indicted on some
rape charges.
Rape charges, yeah.
He facing 30. And you said you saw the affidavit, right?
Yeah, some wild stuff.
Some wild stuff. And give me the race of the girl, just so we be clear.
She's a white girl. Ooh. She is of the Caucasian.
She is Caucasian persuasion.
Persuasion, yeah.
And he's blue-black. He's blurple with gold teeth in his mouth, Haitian.
The Haitian dreads.
And yeah, that's not gonna fly.
Yeah.
That's not gonna fly too well unless his lawyers get down for the get down. Nelly was brought up on some rape charges.
Nelly was brought up on some rape charges as well.
And
his situation was interesting because it was rappers that were like coming to his defense, like, yo, they're just trying to get us. You know what I'm saying? these groupies, this is what they do. We meal tickets off this.
Okay, listen. Go ahead.
So I just thought like it was.
Listen. Listen, if you in the music industry, you already know that's a slippery slope between groupies, and I'm talking from experience. We would get overseas, because I used to be an entertainer, and there would be groupies in my room before we checked in. How's that even possible?
Right.
Now, if they just want a little groupie love, we could oblige that back in the days. Right. But these groupies today, they're smart. They looking for the come up. And I'm not suggesting she didn't got raped, so please don't hit me online and say I'm insensitive. I would never. I'm simply saying this is a thin line as an entertainer of his capacity, who has groupies falling all over him like flies, that there's always one in the bunch where you may have took it too far or she had an ulterior motive. So we are going to let the facts play out.
Yeah.
Now, Kodak Black had an affidavit. So we want to, there's some real, that stuff is kind of, like, you know what I mean? So let's pay attention to that. Next week, we will go into the BET Hip Hop Awards.
Right.
Is it airing tonight?
It's airing tonight.
So we couldn't do that for y'all tonight. So I'll save my thoughts on, where I think that's particularly going. Any more questions before my public service announcement?
No, you can make your announcement, sir.
Okay, I want to make a public service announcement to the people. The name of this company that we started is called Momi Media or Momi Publishing. M-O-M-E. I named it after my 4 children, Marcus, Odyssey, Malcolm, and Eli. And it's almost phonetically Mom-E. So that includes moms. Right. And when you spell it backwards, it says Imam, which is the spiritual head male of a family. That would be me. So even built into the name, you can throw your sigils and it gives it a different energy. My call is for all parents to start a small business with your family. I don't care how small it is. What it does is it breeds camaraderie, it breeds bonding, it adds responsibility. Don't worry about the numbers and what kind of likes and sales. That comes later. We're trying to teach our children that they don't always have to work for somebody else. Now, there's nothing wrong with working for somebody else. I'm not one of them people who's either one or the other. You can have a job and still be working on your entrepreneurial spirit. My son sitting here now has a job, and now he's launching his blog, his YouTube channel. He's got a book coming next year. My oldest son, Marcus, he's the athletic director of the Boys and Girls Club in the Bronx. He loves working with the children, but he just launched his own real estate company. He's got one property right now, but that's all right. That's where it starts at. Right? So I say all of that to say, but what it has done, it has brought my family and us closer. And we hold each other responsible. We have actual meetings, and no one is above reproach, not even me. Dad, you said you was going to get that done. You need to get that done. And there are some days I'm tired and I don't want to do the podcast with my son Eli, and he needs it. Even though on our SoundCloud, we only get 4 listeners a show, but we know that's his friends. Freddie, a couple of his girls, you know what I'm saying? But it don't matter. It's showing and creating purpose for our children. So I'm asking all parents, start something. T-shirt company, hats, we all got talent. And watch what it does for your unity in your family. And I know everybody's busy, but we work hard for everybody else. But when it comes hard to working for ourselves, we don't do it enough. Okay, so start on a Wednesday, whatever it is you want to do, build the camaraderie, online, this, that, and watch what it does. You know what I'm saying? To build that, that unity amongst your family, and it really does. And when you get it launched, call us or hit us with a tweet or text, and we would like to purchase a shirt, some cookies, because that's what we do. And everything we do starts with family first. We took my son and it was standing room only here for his podcast launch. People standing, we put this banner right here. You might be able to see it. We put up this banner that we had just bought. I had a friend, shout out to Turtle Gang, who came through and boom, 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 flashing, took pictures of him. We interviewed him because it's a big thing. You know what I'm saying? So do that. And if you in the New York area, when you get it together for your son or daughter or whatever it is, and y'all having a launch party, call us. If it's in the New York, New Jersey area, it's not too far out, we will come with our cameras and make a big deal out of it. We had a very good weekend we call the retreat weekend, where we all put our phones down for the weekend and we all looked at each other's businesses because everybody got a little something going on. Eli has the Weight podcast. You have, your blogs and books. I got a couple of books out. My wifey's into photography, filming, doing weddings and Sweet 16. My daughter Odyssey hasn't.
She's the rover.
She's the rover. She's only 15. She hasn't figured it out yet, but she already announced that she wants to take business management when she goes to college. Right. So that means she wants to come and help us because we ain't got all the answers. You know what I'm saying? We working this thing out, right? And as a result, and we discuss everything. My book sales have been slacking. So the kids had a meeting and what they came up with is, Dad, you need to give a book sale. So this is the plug. This book, Urban Culture Decoded, all right, which is normally $20, is going to go on sale for $10. I'm going to say that again, $10 for a limited time only. And Malcolm, you do the graphics. Put like one of them big limited time only things. This will be the best book you ever read on the subject of what's going on with our youth because I pulled no punches. It's going to make teachers uncomfortable. It's going to make parents uncomfortable. It's going to make instructors, police officers, reverends, because the problem is we too comfortable in our zone. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be uncomfortable with this truth. And if you go to Amazon, it's $20. But if you go to I Decode It, I can put it down like an electric company. Right. Like, that's before your time. Yeah, Yeah, right. So what they came up with, because after they checked the sales reports, because that's what we do, right? Everything is transparent. They said, Dad, you slacking. And what we came up with is a sale. So for a limited time only, if you go to my website, idecodeit.com, we will put the links below. You can get this masterpiece for $10. You got to pay your own shipping and handling. I'm not giving the book away. All right? So I say all of that to say thank you. Thank you for the support we've been receiving here at urbanX.nyc and urbanX TV, and we want to make you proud. We don't want to embarrass you. We don't want to embarrass ourselves, so you won't see no drama here, period. We just trying to bring some information that you can share, and we never want to take your viewership for granted in any shape, form, or fashion. And sometimes I can be out of line, and if you hit me up in the chat box in a respectful way, and if I felt I'd said something that was out of pocket or went too far, I will publicly apologize because that's just how I get down. All right? In my household, it's my children's fault because I may crack a joke on my wife and they start laughing. And what does a wannabe comedian to do? But keep them coming. And I should stop at 3. And I go to joke 4, 5, and 6, and everybody go, all right, Dad, you took it too far. So sometimes when I sit in front of these cameras, some of my views can go a little bit too far. We don't mean any harm by that. So with that being said, subscribe, log on, get this book for $10. We love you, and we see you the next time we hook up. Peace.
Peace.